Right, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Red Brothers Pod. We are officially back for the 25-26 season, and it's time to talk
Um,
about Bournemouth.
a lot of changes came in this summer. Had an episode on it a few months back actually now, and exciting stuff, and we could see it. Unfortunately, the Community Shield got a loss, but I think this win against Bournemouth shows a lot of potential for this year, and I'm very excited for this season.
But do you not also think it showed a lot of frailties defensively?
Yeah, maybe, but these players also need some time to settle. Players are new. Obviously, we've changed half of the defence, both our fullbacks. Obviously, Van Dijk and Konate staying. However, we have got that new centre-back, that youngster, but I doubt he's going to be getting much minutes in the Premier League this season.
Yeah, probably
However,
not the league.
It will take some time for Kirkes and Frimpong to settle. You can tell that they're not exactly up to that 100% standard that we would expect them to be, but I reckon they're getting outshined a bit by players like Etikite and Verts, who are doing amazing.
Well, yeah, look, I think Frimpong is still not fully fit for the game. That's why he gets subbed off for Endo.
Yeah.
That's why he gets subbed off in the Community Shield as well. And if anything, I think in both games, losing Frimpong at right back affected us a lot.
Yeah.
So it goes to show that I think he settled in a lot quicker than Kirkes.
Yeah.
I think he got, even in pre-season, he got an assist quicker than him. He's obviously got his first goal under his belt.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's made that transition slightly smoother, considering
Possibly.
we thought it'd be the other way round, where obviously
Yeah,
Kirkes
yeah,
was
yeah,
Premier
yeah.
League proven, and he's obviously an out-and-out fullback, whereas Frimpong is a bit of a wing-back. So, yeah, it's interesting to see. I think Frimpong, in my personal opinion, climatised a bit quicker, but again, I don't think he's 100% both fitness-wise and ability-wise at the minute.
Yeah.
And I think that, again, when we manage to get his fitness up, those 30 minutes extra where he can play the 90, I think we'll manage to, see the results on that and see that we're not as leaky from that right-hand side.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I can be patient with Kirkes for a while because he's not exactly being horrible. He's not making mistakes. He's just not putting up, he's not doing a Trent performance, do you know what I mean?
So this is what I was thinking about last night, about how people said, it's going to take a time for these players to bed in and stuff like that, and that is totally normal and understandable. However, that quality of player, that even if they're not settled in or not playing at 100%, they're not necessarily playing bad in a way.
Exactly.
They don't affect us or
they're
cost
just
us.
Not outshining.
Exactly. So this is what I mean. Even with a Verts, where, let's be honest, he did have a bit of a tough game yesterday. Obviously, he still contributes. He still gets all of our attacks going. He still, is a massive part of pretty much every counter-attack we make, and obviously once he settles in and fully embeds into that role, I'm sure that his output will start tripling. But obviously at the time, even when he had a poor game like yesterday, it's not like it affected us much, and we have that much quality around the pitch that it doesn't matter if one of those players isn't 100% up to scratch at the minute. Of course, against worse teams you get punished more, it's harder, of course, but as the season goes on, this team is only going to start growing and get stronger and stronger, and we'll have to see where that takes us.
I fully agree, and I think there's this kind of bias in the media where these players are expected to come in, and a transfer is a disappointment unless it outshines and becomes the best left back in the league.
Exactly.
We'll sign a Kirkes, and if he's not the next Roberto Carlos, it's a disappointment. Well, no, he's still having average games, which is what you want, consistency. And until he starts randomly getting red cards or making mistakes or
and someone was talking to me about Kirkes yesterday, and I said, well, look, we had Robertson there last year. Now he cost us a lot more than he contributed. Now if Kirkes gets rid of those parts where he's costing us, and he can still chip in with a contribution, which I think he'll contribute more than, because Robbo last year, I'm pretty sure, had 1 assist. So he'll definitely contribute more than Robbo did last season, and that's what I mean. That's a clear improvement on where the squad was last year. Obviously, Frimpong is a must that we brought him in because Trent left, and we need depth with Bradley and him now. Look, I don't personally think the fullbacks are too much of a problem. And again, I think why a lot of people are gravitating towards the fullback is their heights. They are quite small for for modern day fullbacks. But
Yeah.
again, something that we listened to on commentary last night is when Gravenberch is back in the squad, there's 6 players in the squad that are over 6 foot. Now, okay, then you have Wirtz, Kirkes and Frimpong, who are quite small.
Yeah.
But obviously the core of the team is quite physical and quite large. And again, going back to last night more so, I think the key thing that I noticed was us missing Gravenberch.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Same thing with the Palace game. We was a little bit disjointed in midfield. Now, where I think that comes from is Szoboszlai. Now, when he was playing deeper at bits last season, we saw a lot of the positives, but I think that maybe we didn't catch on to some of the negatives. And I think that, you know, we saw him in that Palace and that Bournemouth game where he just isn't a deep lying midfielder. So I think that obviously was quite a contributing factor to sort of, you know, our ball winning ability and getting up the pitch. And obviously you know, in the Palace game, Szoboszlai was at fault for the second goal. So I think that, you know, it's an easy fix. You put Gravenberch in there, and I can imagine that now for Newcastle and Arsenal, we would look a lot more as a team, because it was disjointed a lot of times last night. I think that we would just look better overall as a team with that Gravenberch there in midfield.
I mean, I'm kind of interested because in pre-season quite often Szoboszlai would play at right back, and I want to see, like, why? What kind of...
I think that was more so due to depth there before Frimpong was, like, fully unveiled.
Maybe,
Bradley's had injury issues.
Also, if this is something they were experimenting with and it's effective, this would be potentially something nice to see.
So this is, again, what people don't understand is when you have a squad of this quality with this quality of players, you know, you can really pick and change where they play. And throughout the game, obviously, again, something we saw last night from Slot is the formation changed quite a lot, you know. The first phase was obviously the team that we came out to start the game with, and then, you know, we were experimenting a little bit with Wirtz going further, playing as that almost false 9, and then obviously moving on to Chiesa as a sort of an out and out 9, which obviously results in that third goal for us. So yeah, I think it's encouraging to see that Slot's still doing his things, and that we can stay flexible throughout the game. Don't get me wrong, I do believe that those substitutions did make us a little flat when they happened, especially when Endo came on at right back, and then we were getting burned down that side.
I agree.
And you couldn't track back. So yeah, and then obviously Gomez comes on, we concede the second from a fluky counter, but a very well executed counter by Bournemouth. Well, I say by Bournemouth, by Semenyo, who shout out to him, fair play, 2 goals at Anfield. Looks like someone Liverpool would really be interested in. I mean, a lot more physical than what Mane was, but he has a lot of those key attributes that Mane had, and he's a powerhouse. Obviously, one more thing I did want to mention, obviously last night it was a bit unfortunate as the racial remarks made towards Semenyo, and obviously, you know, ourselves, we don't believe in any of that. It doesn't have a place at all in football or in the planet in general, if you ask me. But so condolences are with Semenyo. I'm sure he took it like a champ, and obviously, you know, to our sort of negative, he shut that fan up by scoring them 2 goals. So I mean, I'm sure for neutrals that would have been lovely to see, and obviously, like I said, condolences are with him. It's unfortunate, and there's no room for that in football.
Well, I mean, with all football lovers, whether you're playing the sport or watching the sport, everyone has one thing in common: love football. I think a mutual respect should be had between. There can be rivalries between teams, but at the end of the day, there is a mutual respect.
What really disappointed me about it as well is the fact that, you know, the Bournemouth fans made that effort to do the Jota tribute before the game and everything, and then it just kind of felt a little bit distasteful. But again, I've been watching a lot of sort of not analysis, but just a lot of content from after the game, and a lot of the Bournemouth fans were saying, like, the Liverpool fans were brilliant. It's unfortunate that one of them obviously let them down, but as a whole yesterday, I think...
Well, there's always one, and it happens everywhere, every club, every city, everything. It's just how the world is. But I mean, briefly going back to the game here,
I think there's only one place to start with the game, and it was 13 and a half minutes in. into the brand new Premier League season. You know, big expectations. The whole world is watching. And Bournemouth centre-back just decided to absolutely slap the ball as Ekitike was running through one-on-one. So, yeah, I think that will be a starting point. I mean, clear and obvious red. There's no debate in it. Like, so what I was saying yesterday is that if it had just bounced off his knee and skimmed the underside of his arm here, which in the original phase it did, I don't believe it's a red. It's very harsh. It bounced off his knee. Unfortunate.
There is definitely some referees that would give
that,
of course,
but I wouldn't personally agree with it at that point. However, when after that he has the slip and he almost puts his hand out and makes that swipe,
and then he makes a contact with it, which changes the path of the ball, and which is every single camera angle until the last one. They showed what happened is they showed a few different angles, and you couldn't see that contact when he swipes arm. You can see that swipes arm, but it's almost as if he misses it.
Exactly.
However, and then the play's gone, and a few I don't know, like throwing or something happened after, and then they show it again, and you can literally see he literally slaps the ball away.
Like you can see the recoil on his fingers as like they bounce off the ball, and you clearly see the ball just go from going straight forward to slightly to the left.
And the spin changes, and that is horrible. I mean, how has he got away with that?
And VAR at half-time post that they had fully checked it and saw no problem with it, no handball at all. It was accidental play. And again, I'm you know, when Semenyo scores that second goal for Bournemouth, I'm sitting there and I'm absolutely livid. Now, don't get me wrong, did we allow them to get back into the game when we shouldn't have? 100%. But should they have been out of the game in the 15th minute? Yeah, because either we're going through one-on-one with Ekitike, and by what happened about 10 minutes later, we can clearly see that, you know, he's not Nunes, he can handle that situation, and he would have probably finished it. Or they end up with a red card to what I believe is to be their best centre-back on the pitch in the game, and then, the trajectory of the game changes. So that really frustrated me when that second goal went in, because I'm sat there and I'm going, well, if I say about VAR now, it's just going to all be like, oh, you're making excuses, oh, this and that, you should have still killed the game. But now I'm happy we've won the game, because I can sit down here and without any bias towards the result go, no, that was shit. Because it was. It's shocking that we're only 15 minutes into the into the start of the Premier League, and there's already a substantial error, because it's not minor, it's clear and obvious.
It's like anybody who you show that final replay showed, if you show that to anybody
who's ever even touched a football or looked at one, they know
it's a handball. I mean, but I don't understand what the defender is thinking. He's literally put his hand out as if he's trying to slap it away.
But he literally did slap it.
Yeah, but why has he even done that?
So what in my head, what I thought was that he thought that this would have been given as a handball, so then he's going to stop, like, natural reflex to stop the ball. But I don't know. Again, look, sometimes instincts just kick in. He knows he couldn't have blocked it with anything else, so maybe just muscle memory, his hand just went out. It happens. Like, obviously we're both goalkeepers, I used to be. Even when I play outfield sometimes, and like a ball flies here, like my hand will always go, like, I won't always touch it, but my hand will always go up because I've got that muscle memory. But obviously, I just think it's a massive mistake on the centre-backs end, and it's shocking that PGMOL and VAR, or whoever it is, have not clearly seen what was quite an obvious red card.
I mean, there's just a lot of things to talk about this. It's not only is it the first game of the Premier League season where everybody's watching because rival clubs want to try slander us, and obviously Liverpool fans are watching because it's Liverpool, and everybody's watching this game. And also, there's no other foot.
Exactly. It's Friday night, the start of the Premier League.
Everybody's watching.
And for it to be in the first 15 minutes as well, it's just ironic.
Comedic, isn't it?
It is. But anyways, let's not worry about that too much. Obviously, feel like we've sort of discussed that in full effect. Let's move on to Ekitike's goal. Now, starts off with McAllister picking the ball up in the half space over to the left-hand side of the pitch, plays a lovely ball through to Ekitike, who gets a little bit of luck trying to nutmeg Senesi, and it just ends up going in front of him, and just the most lovely composed finish you could ask for.
I'll tell you this, what happened is he attempted to nutmeg the defender.
If that nutmeg goes through,
that is one of the best goals
like
I've seen
that's
in a while.
Suarez versus PSG. Of course, he doesn't absolutely
fund the kind of top bins.
Yeah, for no reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, I just love the composure on it. It goes to show that this guy is a real striker. And again, something I mentioned when that went in is Nunes would have 1,000 of those and miss 999. It's just, I mean, it's football heritage.
It's the difference, because you can see he's got instinct. He goes one-on-one, and this is the difference between a top striker and not a top striker. A top striker, he sees and he has an instinct, nutmeg the player. Not everybody's thinking to do that. An average player is thinking, oh, like, I take a touch round him, or I stop the ball, or turn around and play back. But no, he's gone it. He's like, nutmeg, tries it. Obviously, it doesn't work. However, it sets him up perfectly. You create your own luck.
Exactly.
Sets him up perfectly.
And look, for me, what the most impressive part of the finish is that the geezer's not even looking at the keeper. Literally. The whole time, from the second that he gets past Senesi, he's looking at the ball, looks up, wants to pick out his spot, and he knows where to put it. Sends the keeper the wrong way.
He picks a spot and he sticks with it.
Exactly. And that's what you're meant to do. And obviously, again, 2 games, 2 goals now is an assist as well, now nicely settling us into the Gakpo goal. Obviously, again, Ekitike picks it up over on the left hand side, little pass inside to Gakpo, who goes past about 3 or 4 with that fake shot. Well, amazing. A couple of fake shots, pardon me, and then just proceeds to slot it into the bottom right corner.
Great
it's
finish.
Brilliant. Yeah,
great. It's just so typical, and I think this is what we don't get of Luis Diaz, because he would have dribbled past them 3 players, but it would have looked better. It would have looked more flashy. He would have nutmegged the first one, done a mad flick past the other one, but then he doesn't get past the third, or he just doesn't score. Whereas Gakpo doesn't really do anything flashy, but he's direct. Gets past the first man,
and that's what I love so much about Gakpo. He's so direct. Every time he gets on the ball, he wants to create, he wants to score, he wants to make chances, and this is what you need from a winger. And I think that, one of my biggest sort of what I was wondering whether we just saw one good season from Gakpo, or whether this form can continue. Don't get me wrong, he was really good before that in the Klopp era, massive in like the Carabao Cup, etc. But he was never a nailed down starter. So obviously, I was just wondering whether he was able to uphold that form going into the new season. Obviously starts it off.
He's looking very, very confident. I mean, this game he looked a lot stronger than Salah. He just, and even against Palace, I reckon as well. I mean, I just think he's so direct. And he knows what he wants to do. It's kind of like Ekitike. He knew what he wanted to do, and he just did it.
But again, we're getting to territory here where this fake shot cut inside, far post finish, becomes Gakpo's trademark, because how many times has he done it now, whether it's the top right or top bottom right? He always finds those corners, and it's always after obviously cutting in. I mean, it's getting to Robin territory at this point, where every time it's just cash money. And again, now moving a little bit onto sort of the bad side, Bournemouth's goals. Obviously, first goal, it's a crossing over the left hand side. Semenyo makes the good run in the middle, and obviously not much Alisson could do. It's unfortunate, but again, I don't think the problem was with the defending in and around the box. I think that attack should have been stopped way sooner, and then obviously when we allow them into these dangerous positions, you're leaving the defence with not much options. Again, that second goal does come after we move Endo at right back and Robertson at left back, and I think we were really cruising up until they came off, and they come off, and straight away obviously Bournemouth smelt blood, because our fullbacks weakened and they managed to take full advantage of that.
Yeah, exactly.
And then obviously we moved Endo into midfield with Jones, moved Gomez over at right back, and that stabilised it a lot more, but we still concede the second goal. Now, with that goal, again, for me it's Szoboszlai. The ball's on the edge of the area, you've just had a corner, and he's trying some sort of flick around the corner, but it ends up losing the ball. Semenyo runs the whole length. Konate and Van Dijk in no man's land, really. Again, I totally appreciate Semenyo is absolutely rapid and he is a really good footballer, but obviously the defence didn't cover themselves in glory. But again, another problem that I saw with that goal was that both of our fullbacks were in the box. Now, we're 2-1 up in the 60 or 70th odd minute, and why are our fullbacks in the box? Now, Slot said after the game it is because, you know, we want to be attacking, we want to be free flowing, this is how we want to play. But I think there are moments where you will definitely look back and go, no, that can't be like that. And, you know, he even said in the Sky Sports interview last night after the game that he was, you know, he wasn't happy with the fullbacks positioning there. He definitely didn't want them to be that high. And if anything, Robertson should have been on Semenyo so that the ball never goes to him in the first place. But again, mistakes happen. We concede two. It is what it is, because in comes Federico Chiesa, 80th minute, gets subbed on.
You can tell he was waiting for this moment.
But Anfield absolutely erupted. It was insane. That Chiesa, and you know, I think Anfield after that second goal got really, really deflated, and then Chiesa comes on and we start singing this song, and it's like it stood up again. Everything got going again, and boom, straight away Chiesa comes on and scores.
I think there's this mutual appreciation amongst the fans that everybody kind of understands that he doesn't get the game time we think he deserves, but also it's like everybody wants him to do well.
Of course, because we love him, and we, like you said, we know he has that quality in him. We've seen it.
We've seen it in previous years, and obviously not for Liverpool, but in previous years he used to be a great footballer, world class.
And so we saw it last night. That finish, like again, it's fortunate that the defender bounces it back straight to him, but whilst leaning back to just hit that volley perfectly in the bottom right corner. It's just a perfect goal. He
was waiting for that moment. You could see on his face. He loved the moment. The fans loved it. The players around, all the players were happy for him. Even Slot was so happy.
For me, again, it always falls back to the fans, and you know, the way that they were all singing this song name after the game, it's incredible, and that chant obviously has made it to Liverpool legendary status already, even though Chiesa hasn't been a big part of last year's squad. But obviously, you know, reports are now coming out that his opinion's changed and he wants to stay at Liverpool. He believes he can still get in Italy's World Cup squad by staying at Liverpool, which is important for us because now the player's clearly not unsettled. He sees the vision. Obviously, I saw reports out there as well before this game that Slot had a chat with him and basically said, you're going to be more involved now, and you know, it makes sense. Of course, if Isak comes in, he falls down the pecking line, but at the minute he can play anywhere across the front three, wherever we need him.
And he's looking like a strong contender to be playing more and more often. I mean, I see him getting subbed on most games now, especially, but maybe not especially for Salah, because obviously he can have a poor game and still score. But
like yesterday.
If we look on the exactly, and we can see, let's say, Gapco's running low on energy,
or anything, even if we've already got 3 attackers up there and we're chasing, I don't know, a 2-goal lead or a lead in the Champions League, you know, you slap a 4th in there and boom, the firepower is crazy. And I mean, if we add Isak to that, that's like that meme where the guy's like cooking in the big pan and he throws some pasta in and it all just goes up in flames. That's what Liverpool's attack's going to be like with Isak. So very interesting, and obviously, you know, we'll keep you guys posted over the next couple of weeks before the end of the transfer window. But yeah, obviously it'll be interesting how he fits in.
As of now, is it the 16th of August?
Yep.
As of now, the latest update is that we're preparing another bid.
Yeah, and we're waiting for Newcastle to say that he'd be available, but now we've been in this situation for about a week and a half, if not 2 weeks now, where we're just waiting on Newcastle's decision. But I think they're sort of getting closer and closer to the point where they realise there's no stopping this and you just need to let it happen. But let's not go into it too much. I think we can just start talking about Salah's goal a little bit and then go into some player ratings. But I think again Salah really poor yesterday.
Definitely.
But again, so this is the thing, like, it was really poor because he didn't provide much. However, his playmaking is to such a level that if 1 or 2 of these passes were millimetres to the left or the right, he would have walked out of there with a goal and 2 assists or so. So, again, he's not clearly fully up. Pardon me. He's clearly not fully up to speed yet. And I think that, again, when he is, you'll see that scary Salah that we all saw last season.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and the fact that he still gets a goal, I mean, we see this in
with his right foot as well, weak foot that he doesn't have.
You can tell it was a bit of an awkward shot,
but
it
perfect in the corner again. I mean,
works out.
That's him now level on goals with Andy Cole on 187, I believe. Obviously, he will surpass Aguero now, who was on 184. So, he's climbing those rankings. He's now chasing Rooney and Kane.
He's going to have 200 plus goals in the Premier League,
which is incredible.
I just think he's so underappreciated, and I just think it's that players don't. People. First off, people are kind of used to Messi numbers and Ronaldo numbers, but also, I don't know why, but they would appreciate a player in their team who can nutmeg someone rather than someone who can score goals, and I don't really understand that.
Of course, look, everyone wants to be off their feet when they're watching football and get dragged in by these crazy moments, but at the end of the day, football's about winning as well.
Exactly.
Like, at the end of the year, we don't give trophies to the teams that played best, we give them to the ones that got the most wins and points.
I'll tell you, said that you like when people watch football for the special moments, but I'll tell you what a special moment in football is for me. When we're sat in Liverpool for the Tottenham game, seeing the atmosphere,
100%.
being in Liverpool with the fans celebrating, that's for me. That's a special moment. That's something I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. Not Salah not making two players.
It's nice, don't get me wrong, but again, it's not what football is about, in my opinion.
No,
I really enjoy, when you get to the latter stage of the season and you just start grinding out results, and you almost go into every game knowing that you'll win, but it's always tough, but you're just grinding those results out and grinding, and that's what we were the best at under Klopp. That's what we're really good at now under Slot. Exactly, grinding out results and goals and stuff. So moving on to the player ratings, I think we'll start with Alisson.
I mean, I don't think there's much you can really do for them 2 goals.
Exactly, I'd give him a 7. He saved a couple big chances, big shots. Nothing he could have done about the 2 we conceded. So give him a 7. Moving on to Frimpong, I think 7's fair again.
It's kind of a bit of a heavy heart that you haven't said Trent there.
It is, it was weird for me watching the game yesterday. It was the first season since ever I can remember where we've not gone into it with Trent as right back. And look, I think that losing Klopp the year before was a lot harder, so of course it was a lot harder, but I think that sort of made this a little bit easier now. Definitely. Where we had to deal with that then, and we were in such an unknown about what will happen with our form, with our players, etc. So I think we're a lot better positioned.
Then again,
now.
We also got to think, we lost Klopp, and obviously great manager, but in came Arne Slot, and he won us the Premier League in the first season.
Of course,
so there's something.
What I'm saying is dealing with losing that player or that person at the club. I think that we can accept Trent not being there easier because last year we had to put up with Klopp leaving. So it's not to say necessarily that it was a bad thing that we lost Klopp or whatever, but it's just from a perspective as a fan dealing with it. But so Frimpong for me, I think he gets a 7 as well. I don't think
I'll give him a 7 because this is something you can't really see, but the second he comes off, pretty much we lose control of the game. So even if it's not that he's doing anything in particular, for example, not picking up the ball and pinging it long and perfect pass, but he has them moments where it's does everything right.
And he's massively influential on the wing for us. Obviously, he helps Salah when he's getting doubled up on and finds space in pockets. So he's really important.
And he's got this aggression that McAllister has, and he's very up. And when he gets tackled,
he's got that passion, and that's what I said to you when we did the transfer show. I said to you he seems like the guy that the second someone gets past him, if they do, he's right back on it, and that's exactly what we've seen. Now moving on to Ibu, for me, gets a 6. I think he could have done a lot better for the second goal that we concede, and I think there's moments throughout the match where he just looks a little bit shaky.
Exactly, that's exactly what I was going to add. I just think that for a player of his calibre and for what he's shown before, he hasn't had that composure in the past this game, and maybe even the Crystal Palace at moments.
And I think look, obviously, massive rumours around Gahey, the new centre-half from Italy coming in last night. That could have an effect on it, but obviously, again, I'm not too worried because if Konate keeps performing like this, we're very close to agreeing a deal with Palace for Gahey, and we've already agreed personal terms. Gahey comes in, problem fixed. So it's not too much of a major problem for me. I think, again, he'll get way better as the season goes on, but if he doesn't, then there's always a backup. Van Dijk, I think 7 is pretty fair for him.
Yeah,
he was better than Ibu.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's
he
how
cleaned up
a
lot of Ibu's messes.
Yeah, that's how. This is what usually happens, because Ibu is a player that tends to make some mistakes from time to time. However, Van Dijk's there to support him and kind of like.
There was a massive block Van Dijk made when we worked 2-1 as well, obviously stopping pretty much a clear goal 1-on-1. So yeah, but Van Dijk was good for me. I think that he was getting a lot of slander as well last night after the game. But again, I think any Liverpool player will get slander this year. But I think obviously he could have again done better for the second goal, but it happens, and I think all around, other than that, his performance was good. Now, moving on to Kirkes, I think he gets a 6 as well. Like we said a little bit earlier, I think that sums up his performance. Moving into midfield, we obviously started with McAllister, who, I don't know, it was a bit tough. He lost the ball a lot, but he gained it a lot.
He played that through ball
as well. So yeah, probably get a 7.
Yeah, definitely. I just still think he is that physical midfielder we have. He might not be physically strong or big, but however, he has that.
He throws himself about
with that aggression and the bravery. Is what
he's
I love.
Argentinian. It makes sense.
Can tell.
But yeah, so McAllister I think gets a 7. Szoboszlai will probably get a 6 as well. And then I think that leaves us pretty comfortably moving on to Salah. Again, I'm sort of skimming through these because we've spoken in a bit detail about these guys' performances.
Salah, I'll give her a 7 because he gets.
I think he gets an 8 because of the goal.
I mean, I think I could lean more with that if that was like the winning goal.
I hear it. Yeah, give him a 7. Fair play. Gakpo 8 for sure. Yeah, he was good at carrying that ball up that left-hand side. Gets the goal. Obviously influential throughout. Nice and tidy in build-up. So, Ekitike.
Wirtz you missed.
Wirtz, yeah. Well, I was going to go to him last.
I think a 6 with Wirtz.
Yeah, but again, Wirtz wasn't great. But like we said earlier in the video, he doesn't have to play at a 10 out of 10 level for Liverpool to be successful.
Exactly, and also it's like if the other attackers around you are just having a great game, like Gakpo and Ekitike, it's kind of hard to like
stand out.
Exactly.
Plus, again, and parts of football that, because a lot of people just consume football as goals and assists now, which isn't the way it should be. But when you actually watch the game, and I think we've been saying this throughout pre-season, every attack goes through Wirtz. Everything good that we do comes through Wirtz at some point.
He has a nice
and he doesn't get credit for that because he doesn't get the assist or the goal ultimately. But in reality, pretty much everything we do, he's involved in, and that's what he's been brought in to do.
I mean,
and now give him a few more weeks to get his fitness and sharpness up and get a better connection with the players around him. And when this kicks off, oh mate, we're in for a winner.
Definitely. I love the connection he's got with Ekitike. You wouldn't expect it. 2 players from the same league, different clubs, but they've got this link up that you just don't really see too often. I mean, it's what you want. It's what you need,
you're number 10 and you're number 9, isn't it? It's like Gerrard and Torres. Not just yet, don't get me wrong.
But not to that level, but it's
sorry, speaking about Gerrard and Torres, we had to go for the little long sleeve option on the Liverpool shirt. It's just football
classic,
heritage, But sorry, continue.
The classic, what I meant to say is the 2 transfers coming in and then both clicking. You don't see that too often, and it's amazing to see, and it just shows that there's so much potential in both of these players, especially when they play alongside each other.
And moving on to Ekitike, I think he did great displaying this potential yesterday. I think he easily gets a 9.
He's got this jammy thing about him, and it's like kind of like clunky. However, he always makes it work. I think the players don't really expect it, and
I think he has a lot of what Firmino had. Those little tips, like tricks and tricks and flicks and stuff around the corner passes, back heels. He just seems to really understand it. And for me, this is what me and my other friend were talking about last night. His footballing IQ is incredible. The runs he makes, the way he uses his body. Like, how many times have we seen now where he's had a striker on his back and he's perfectly manoeuvred him around his back to give himself a clear charge at goal?
I'll tell you what I'm impressed with is that He's a stocky player-ish. Or
and he's
lanky,
so skinny, but he's so strong.
But this is what I'm trying to say, is that you wouldn't expect a player of his build to be able to have these skills. However, he uses it to his advantage, because he uses his height and physicality plus his skills together to do things we don't really see too often.
Exactly.
And he just knows how to manipulate his body in a way, like you said, for example, around a defender, or set up a through ball, or for example that finish against Crystal Palace. He set up his body in the perfect way to be able to get that finish off, right?
Exactly. And he doesn't reveal with his body position as to where he's going to shoot, because he keeps his body open.
Exactly.
It leaves both angles open for the shot, that if he moves the keeper this way, he shoots the other, keeper goes that way, he shoots the other. So yeah, really, really smart footballer. Can tell he's really got a brain,
I was very unsure about him when I first heard about him. I mean,
we thought it would be Nunes 2.0.
Yeah, I was expecting Isak to come in, and I'm hearing about Etikite, and I'm thinking, you know, questions have to be asked there. Is he the right player for us? But I think Slot knew.
Yeah, and I think we knew he was the right player for us 4 minutes into the Community Shield when he's wheeling away in celebration after slotting one in the bottom corner. So yeah, I mean, that just leaves us with the substitutes now. Endo, for me, we'll go through these quite quickly. Endo, for me, gets a 6. Obviously, he has a few good battles in there, but overall, I think he cost us the momentum. Not to a fault of his own. He's been played out of position. So it happens.
I mean, most of these players do get 6 and 7 because they don't really have enough time to really show.
Yeah, of course. So it's not like necessarily he played shocking. He just wasn't great. You know, we then have Jones in midfield. I think that when we moved into that pivot of Jones and who else played with him, Szoboszlai stayed, I think we did look a little bit more stable, and Jones was a lot better in there, so that was nice to see. Again, with then obviously who else came on? Chiesa came on, scores the goal, so he gets a 9 from us, I think. Definitely. As well. The winner ultimately. Did anyone else come on? Oh yeah, Robbo again, same thing as Endo, 6. Doesn't quite get it right, Slot, with those substitutions. I think that's everyone that came on.
I think so too. Well, didn't you not name 5?
We named 4. Trying to think who. Let me. I don't even have my phone. Anyways, it don't matter.
Wait, Jones, Endo,
Robbo,
Chiesa. That's 4.
No one else came on, I don't think. Yeah, because none of the centre backs, Szoboszlai played the full 90. I don't know. Anyways, the final thing left for us to do is give Slot a rating.
I mean, I was a bit concerned with some of the substitutions he was making.
Yeah, so for me, he gets a 7.5 because the substitutions cost us that 2-goal lead, but then he does well to use the squad to get us back.
Yeah, and also, but I think the players, with the quality of the players that we have, they kind of saved him a little bit.
Of course, but that's why you buy these types of players.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, I mean, I think that's everything from today for us guys. You know, great, good game. Very good advert for the Premier League, even from a refereeing perspective. Obviously, showing what the PGMOL are all about. But yeah, I think we'll be signing off, and we shall see you guys after Newcastle.
Thank you.